Hey, this is Scott Haase, and today I'm going to talk about long toss. What is it? Why it could be bad, and then how we use it. Yes, we do use it. So what is long toss? It's something that was popularized by Alan Jaeger. So I would highly recommend you, when you're done watching this video and talking about it, look up his resources. He has a ton of resources on it. He's got step-by-step throwing plans that we use some of, that we've used over the years. So Alan Jaeger with Jaeger Long Toss is an awesome resource that I highly recommend you do if you're going to do any type of long toss. So what is it? It's a series of throws that in the program will tell you how often, how many, how far, and at what point in the time of the year, and it's all very detailed. What it also is, long toss, is just trying to throw it as far as you can. So when I grew up and had no idea what that was called, I think this was before Alan Jaeger kind of came on the scene with his website and everything. So it was in the early 90s when I was just playing catch with my brothers. Long toss was, hey, the first handful of throws are close. As I feel a little bit better, I'm going to back up. As I feel a little bit better, but back up. So eventually we're throwing in between the two neighborhood yards and trying to throw it over the houses, and then from street to street to try to throw a whole block. That was long toss for us. So is it good? Heck yeah. Like, it's getting your arm conditioned so you're used to throwing, because if you're not used to throwing and you don't throw, it's going to hurt more and you aren't able to throw as much. So long toss is a good way to do. You build up in a progression, meaning day one, you don't throw a ton of throws. You throw maybe, let's say 50. I don't know, just a random number. Let's say you throw 50. The next day, maybe you take off. Then you throw 55, then you take a day off. So it gives you a progression. So long toss is great. How can it be bad? Well, I kind of already alluded to it. It can be bad if someone is trying to throw too many throws, or too hard, or too far, too early. Pretty simple, right? If I have never thrown a baseball and I try to throw it as hard as I can, you've seen adults do it. If you've ever been to a big league or a minor league park, you've seen guys try to throw the radar gun as hard as they can, and then they do this after, like, my arm. Yeah, I've been there too, even as a baseball player. So that's how it can be bad. Also, it can be bad if, let's say you've thrown enough, but now you have a little bit of pain in your elbow or your shoulder or somewhere else, or maybe even in your foot. And we'll talk about that. All of a sudden now I try to throw it with the exact same intensity and I hurt my arm. But how can my foot, this is kind of next level stuff. So this is advanced for all you advanced learners. I'm a lefty, so when I throw, my right foot is gonna land. If my right foot, if I've sprained my ankle, I'm now gonna not land as hard. Okay, now I don't use my legs as much because I'm kind of being soft on that leg. So now I have to really use my upper body a lot more than I'm used to because of my foot. I've used my upper body more than I'm used to. Now maybe I hurt my upper body or my arm or something, or a pec or something like that because of my foot. So it's all connected. So long toss can be bad if implemented incorrectly, but so can pitching or anything else. So you have to understand that everything affects everything. If your girlfriend dumps you and you're depressed and you aren't worried about how you feel and your pain that you've had, and you got to go to try to throw as far as you normally can, maybe you're on a football field and you know that you can normally throw it 85 yards, but you're not feeling really good, and you just try to throw as hard as you can, but you're depressed and everything else is different with your mechanics, and then your arm hurts, then sure, long toss is bad. But long toss in and of itself, if implemented correctly, just like most everything else, is not bad. So we like long toss, we use it. We get this question a lot, so this will help whether it's coaches, parents, or players that are indoors during the off season. If you don't have anywhere to throw outside because it's wintertime and it's snow, well, you throw inside. This is an inside facility. Most people have access to some type of facility. Even if you don't, you can just throw at home and find a net, or what I did in college when I was playing is I had a mattress from one of my roommates that wasn't using it, and I put it in the corner of our duplex basement, and I threw wiffle balls because I knew a baseball would come off too hard and come back at me. So I threw wiffle balls. Probably not the best, but I did what I could because we had snow on the ground, and I was up in Michigan. So if you're inside, be throwing something into something to keep your arm conditioned. If you want to get the full effects of long toss where you're trying to elevate the ball and try to get it further, all you do is try to throw higher. So if you're inside at somewhere like this, your first handful of throws are pretty much straightforward, pretty easy. Then you start throwing harder, and then you start elevating it and throwing higher and higher and higher to try to simulate what it would be like to throw outside. And that is the best that you can get. It is not the best because you're not outside, but it's very, very similar, and we do that with our guys all the time. That's in addition to We do some band work and some exercises, and we talk about listening to your arm, which Alan Jaeger does a fantastic job of breaking all that down, of listening to your arm, which basically, in summary, is if your arm hurts, try not to throw it as hard or as far or maybe at all.